Linda arrives at work, Preston Strategic Solutions, where she works as a manager in the strategic planning department. Her colleague Donovan asks her about the company report, and she gives it to him, nodding that she double-checked all indexes against next year's predicted quarterly lease. He praises her and says she is amazing as he leads her to the meeting room. He adds that it is only a small meeting and that he merely dropped the file for him to present. He further says that everyone will know that Linda did it all. However, as Linda walks towards the meeting room, two of her other colleagues, Chase and River, discuss going to karaoke after work. Linda tries to join the conversation, saying that she would be good too as she needs a break, but they ignore her. It is then that Linda realizes that Donovan is walking into the meeting room presenting the report to the board as if it were his own work. Later that day, Linda talks to her parrot, Sweetie, telling her about the events at the office, saying that she will soon be promoted to the post of vice president, as she finally has an opening now that her boss has passed away and his son Bradley is set to take over his position as the president of the company. Besides, Bradley had previously flirted with her at the company's Christmas party, and Linda tells Sweetie that once she is promoted, they will relocate to another apartment. Linda watches TV while catching up on her favorite show, Survivor. The following day, Linda meets Bradley at the office, where he formally introduces himself as the new president. He asks Linda if they have met before, and she says that they have, nodding that she met him at the company's Christmas party the previous year. He nods and says that he is sorry for his father's passing, but Bradley is more concerned about a small piece of food stuck on Linda's lip and asks her to remove it. However, Linda becomes increasingly annoyed as he continues to look at the food. Finally, Bradley excuses himself and walks away, saying that he needs to talk to Franklin, the company's executive officer. As Franklin is about to explain the merger situation to Bradley, he notices a piece of food on his hand and realizes where it came from. He asks Bradley to smell the food, but Franklin refuses, nodding that Bradley is the boss. However, Bradley insists and Franklin reluctantly agrees, saying, "Tuna fish, what a disgusting woman," Bradley mutters. Franklin informs Bradley that his father promised Linda a promotion to the post of vice president. Bradley casually says that the position will go to Donovan instead. Franklin says that Linda is a hard worker and that her late father relied on her, but it does not change Bradley's mind. Further, Bradley says that he does not want her close to him because she makes him sick. He asks Franklin to move away because he is contaminating him with the food on his hands. Franklin reminds Bradley that his father promised Linda the promotion, but Bradley says that she is a good worker. However, the position requires someone attractive and charming such as Donovan to play golf. Besides, he adds that Linda has some food stuck in her mouth. Linda is humiliated and about to shed tears when Bradley offers her a deal. He says that they will send Linda to Bangkok to assist with the merger, and that if she finds a solution to the problem in Appendix D, he will consider her request for a promotion. At this moment, a lady walks into the office, and Bradley introduces her to Linda as his fiancée, Yuri. She smiles politely as Bradley praises Linda for being one of his company's best employees. Besides, he adds that he has received several complaints regarding Linda's stinking food, such as tuna in her office, and Linda should take it to the canteen next time. Linda leaves the office, saying to herself that she is good enough regardless of what Bradley says. A few days later, Linda arrives at the private airfield, where she is set to take off for Bangkok for the merger. Linda cheerfully tells Bradley that she stayed up all night working on Appendix D, and that she thinks she has discovered a loophole. However, Bradley ignores her and tells everyone to board the plane. Linda continues working on Appendix D as the plane takes off. Meanwhile, Donovan plays one of Linda's audition tapes for Survivor while catching up on the show. In the tape, Linda states that she knows 3 methods for starting a fire and that she loves the outdoors. Linda removes her earphones and is surprised to hear everyone laughing at her. Angrily, she deletes the file. At that moment, the plane hits a thick cloud of turbulence, and the flight attendant asks the passengers to fasten their seatbelts. "Your seats, your a moment's laughter later, the plane begins to lose cabin pressure and one of the windows has a tear. Linda asks Donovan to give her a hand, but he asks for her seat instead as he tries to strangle her. Linda quickly picks up a fork and sticks it in Donovan's throat, asking him to leave her alone. However, the tie falls off the window, and Donovan begs Linda to give him a hand. This time, Linda refuses to assist him. Seconds later, the plane crashes into the sea. Linda opens her eyes to find herself in the water and manages to undo her belt, swim to the surface, and escape the plane. Finally, Linda falls unconsciousness. The following day, Linda wakes up on a remote island after washing ashore the night before. After walking for hours, Linda finds Bradley unconscious on the sand. She examines him and is surprised that he has a wound on his leg. She decides to set up camp and makes a tent out of banana and coconut leaves tied together with a vine. As the storm begins to roll in, Linda digs a hole in the sand, puts banana leaves over the top of the coconut shells, and gathers water. The storm continues for the night. The following day, Bradley wakes up coughing. At the same time, Linda is sipping some of the water she gathered. Noticing that Bradley is awake, Linda gives him some water to drink. Weakly, Bradley asks her what has happened, but Linda tells him that none of the others survived. She adds that he must have thrown away Donovan in the sea, but Bradley whispers Donovan's name again, and Linda reminds him that he is gone. Further, Bradley asks Linda how long he has been asleep, and Linda tells him that it has been about a day and a half. She is grateful that he is okay and says that she has taken good care of him. Linda manages to start a fire and jumps up and down in excitement. Later, Linda brings Bradley some fish, but he refuses to eat it. However, Linda insists that it will help him recover. Linda begins to feel good about everything that has happened to her as she is far away from the hustle of the office. The following morning, Linda excitedly tells Bradley that she has found a conch shell and that they can use it to scoop out the snails. Bradley asks Linda how long they will be there, and she says that they are most likely in the Gulf of Thailand, noting that the plane must have flown quite a distance from the mainland before crashing. He asks Linda whether she has tried creating signals to show rescuers their location by spelling out help on the sand with sticks. Linda laughs and says that she has not tried that because she has been busy trying to keep them alive. Bradley scoffs and says that she should concentrate on making a distress signal, and reminds Linda that the GPS systems and other tracking devices were on the plane that crashed. Linda looks at Bradley as if she does not know what he is talking about. He further tells her to focus on finding them a way out and stop playing the role of a perfect homemaker. Linda retorts that he would not have been alive if it were not for her, but Bradley snorts and tells her that she is annoying him. He adds that she cannot touch him because of the wound on his leg and says that his leg hurts terribly. Very soft baby hands. Annoyed, he tells Linda to talk to him respectfully. Linda walks away, picking up a few items on her way as he calls out to her, telling her that she should not have taken his delicious snail food. He waits for her to come back, but she does not return until the following day. He begins shouting for water, but Linda tells him that they do not have any. Later that night, the wind storms the camp, tearing the leaves from the banana trees and damaging the tent. The following day, Linda walks back to the camp to find Bradley awake and begins to pour some water into his mouth. She reminds him that they are not in the office anymore. A few days later, Linda informs Bradley that she has found some animal tracks that could belong to a wild boar. She prepares a spear and tells him that she will use it to hunt the animal and get meat that will last them a week. "Are you going to hunt the boar?" Linda corrects strategic and planning. Bradley mutters, "Whatever." She reminds him that he should have known exactly which department she was in, further nodding that he claimed her work was amazing before promoting her to his assistant, only to give the position to Donovan because of his incompetence. Bradley shrugs, saying that sometimes a boss must do what must be done. Save it. Linda walks into the forest searching for the boar. It soon charges at her, but she manages to avoid its attack and hide. She then uses the spear to stab the boar before casually informing Bradley that she enjoys hunting. That night, Linda prepares the boar as Bradley praises her for the delicious meal, but Linda laughs, telling him that she is kidding. Curious, Bradley asks her why she is laughing, but Linda informs him that she was mocking him the whole time for sitting like a blockhead while she brought them food. After the following day, Linda explores the forest and finds a spring of clean water. After taking a bath, Linda is about to leave when she notices a boat in the distance. Linda is about to call for help when she stops and mutters to herself, "Not yet." Linda returns to the camp and informs Bradley that she has found a new spring of water. Annoyed, Bradley asks Linda how they are still there as it has been 2 weeks since the crash, and Linda casually replies that the #1 rule of thumb for human survival is a positive attitude. He snaps at her, telling her to create a raft or do something to help them get off the island. Linda replies that they could use the raft as their last resort, nodding that they have food, water, and shelter. Besides, she adds the island is beautiful, and Linda informs him that they have each other. Bradley says that this is the last place he wants to be. "Haven't I taken good care of you?" He asks Linda to take a look at his sunburned skin, and bluntly tells Linda that this might be her life but not his. She warns him to be careful, but Bradley snaps at her, telling Linda that she is not in a position to tell him what to do. He further adds that he is the CEO of the next 500 gen company. Linda retorts that it is a company his father built. "Yeah, you're so fired." Furious, Bradley fires her on the spot and decides to start his own camp. He limps away, attempting to collect some sticks to build his shelter, but it all falls apart and he tries to start a fire, but it begins raining. He then tries to gather some water, but the rain stops, and he is forced to return to Linda's camp the next morning. Linda greets Bradley and informs him that he spelled the word help incorrectly, noting that it should be heeple. Starving, Bradley notices an insect, picks it up and tries to eat it, but he spits it out in disgust. Finally, Linda manages to get her dignity back as she walks over to Bradley. "Linda, is that you? I think we met at the Christmas party last year." Linda smiles as she informs Bradley that he has some food stuck in his teeth. He further praises the food before noticing the knife and asking Linda where she got it. Linda tells him that it was washed ashore, and after a brief silence, Bradley sighs, apologizing to Linda for treating her poorly both on the island and in his office. "So, I'm not fired?" Linda asks, and Bradley shakes his head, nodding that no one would have survived if not for Linda, adding that she looks fabulous in the survival gear. Linda then asks Bradley if he is finally willing to admit that he underestimated her, and Bradley nods, asking Linda if he can return to her camp to learn from her. Linda asks him to sit down, and he admits that she made things look easy, but she quickly learned how to survive on the island and promises to assist him. Linda thinks about what she is about to say before asking him how far and beyond he would go for her. Bradley begins removing his shirt, but she stops him, joking that he is not like him and telling him to eat. Linda takes Bradley to the island's best vantage point overlooking the water. Linda helps Bradley climb down one of the narrow rocky ridges, and once she has crossed, Linda begins to teach Bradley a few survival skills, such as avoiding eating yellow, green, and white berries. If he is ever unsure about the color of the berries, she tells Bradley he can always test it on his skin first. Linda gestured at the two rocks tied together in an X, pointing out that part of the island is infested with poison ivy and thorns and that he should give it a wide berth. As Linda and Bradley begin their walk back, Bradley tells Linda that she needs to stop and catch her breath for a moment, but Linda's feet begin to slip on the rocks, falling downwards until Bradley manages to grab her hand and help her back up. Linda thanks Bradley, and shortly after, Linda tosses some bananas into the fire, noting that the starch in the bananas converts to sugar when they are heated over an open flame. Bradley tastes the banana and says that it is delicious. But Linda informs him that she also made pruno. When Bradley asks Linda what it is, she says that it is a home brew, further noting that the inmates make it in prison by fermenting the fruit until it becomes alcoholic. That night, Linda and Bradley drink the pruno and Bradley praises Linda, saying that it actually tasted good. "Thank you, sweetie," Linda responds before quickly apologizing, noting that Sweetie is the name of her parrot and that she misses her. Bradley laughs, asking Linda if she lives alone with only a bird for company, and Linda reveals that she was actually married for 10 years. Bradley asks if she was divorced, but Linda corrects him, saying that her husband passed away. Bradley apologizes, but Linda tells him not to, nodding that he was not a good person and did not know how to love. Bradley admits that he understands what she means, adding that his parents did not love each other. Further, his father was never there for him, and his mother was abusive, although he does not fault her for it, nodding that her father was also terrible. She comments that people like Bradley are not born monsters, instead they are made, and Bradley smirkly asks Linda if she ever considered leaving her husband. Linda admits that she did think about it often, but she did not because she feared being alone. When asked how her husband passed away, Linda says that it was a car accident. She explains that he was an alcoholic and that she always hid the car keys from him, but one day the two got into a serious argument, and he began abusing her severely when she refused to give him the keys. In the end, Linda gave him the car keys and got him his last drink. She further adds that she has never told anyone this before, and after a moment, Linda says that maybe they should not leave the island. The following morning, Linda wakes up with a severe headache as she watches Bradley take a bath in the sea. Soon, a violent storm sweeps across the island, destroying their camp in the process. Linda quickly leads Bradley to a secluded cave, leaving behind all their supplies. Shivering uncontrollably, Bradley complains that it is cold and asks Linda to come closer to him for warmth. Some time later, Linda wakes up and returns to their camp only to realize that it has been destroyed. She informs Bradley of the developments, blaming herself for building it too close to the shore. Bradley tells her that it is okay, noting that they can always rebuild it again but farther away from the water. He further reminds Linda that his leg is healing and he can assist her. So the two of them begin rebuilding their camp together. When Bradley asks for the knife, Linda tells him that he should learn to do without it. He nods and says he shall take a walk to the high ridge because his leg healed. Linda also asks to come, and Bradley thanks her for teaching him to live on the island, saying that the time spent there was not in vain. Linda says the same and he offers to cook dinner so that she can finally take a break from the kitchen. Linda nods and smiles. It is night and while Linda is adjusting her clothes, Bradley serves dinner. She tastes the food and is surprised. The dish is delicious. Linda praises Bradley and asks if he can cook. He says he did not know how to cook before, adding that they used to order meals or eat at restaurants. You and your fiancée, you must miss her. Bradley is silent for a moment. All of a sudden Linda feels weak and faints. Bradley manages to find the raft he has been secretly making in the bush among other things and tries to escape on his own. He survives the first wave but is driven back into the ocean by the following one. Linda crawls out of the cave and dives into the sea, dragging Bradley to the beach, vomiting. The next day Bradley confesses that he tried to poison Linda. Surprised, Linda tells him that she already knew about it. She adds that the food tasted bitter but she did not think he would actually try to kill her. Besides, she points out there were not enough poisonous berries to kill a grown woman. Then Linda gives Bradley some fried octopus. He offers her some but she refuses, explaining that she still feels ill. She tells Bradley that she understands how hard it is for him not to be in control, but now she is in charge and things are about to change. It may be hard to accept, but you have to take orders from me and survive because that is the way it is going to be. All of a sudden Bradley realizes that he cannot move. It is Linda who explains to him that she fed him blue-ringed octopus, the poison of which inhibits nerve signals. She points out all the flaws in the raft, telling Bradley that if he wanted to survive the waves he should have fastened it with double floor lashing. Linda tells him that the effects of the poison will only last for several hours so that he will not feel any pain, but during this time he will not be able to move. This might be a good time for you to reconsider the situation, since it will not be the last one. Linda tells Bradley a story from her childhood about a mischievous dog that used to wander off, adding that her father used to say it was not the dog's fault, but rather the master, meaning that it should have tied the animal up more tightly. Linda is firm in her resolve, telling Bradley that no one is coming to save him and that he needs to accept it, reminding him that now he is not the boss anymore, but rather the dog at the bottom of the food chain. Bradley becomes frightened when he sees blood but then realizes that it belongs to a rat. Linda warns him not to confuse her kindness for weakness because next time there will not be any rats. For the next 2 days, Bradley does not speak to Linda. Linda tries to lighten the mood and tells him to give her a smile at least. She also tells him that she knows something that will definitely cheer him up because there are some juicy fruits there. Then she goes to get them, but a few minutes later Linda hears the motor of a boat. Linda. Zuri runs toward the woman and gives her a big hug, asking if Bradley is alive, and Linda assures her that he is. She explains that even though the search had been cancelled, she still did not give up and hired a private boat and now she's here to take them away. She asks Linda to take her to Bradley and Linda agrees. On the way, Zuri asks the captain if it is only them or if there are also other people and a rescue team waiting for them somewhere nearby. The captain replies that it is only them. Linda nods and indicates that they have to head to the high ridge because it is a shorter way. Zuri tells Linda that she must be thrilled to return to civilization. Linda does not reply and says that she needs to tie her laces while asking Zuri to walk ahead. The captain and Zuri plead Linda to help them, but Linda does not respond. Sometime later, Linda arrives at the camp, throwing the bag on the ground and lying quietly inside the shelter without saying a word. After a while, Bradley tells Linda that he saw fresh traces of the boat nearby, meaning that they need to check them out, but Linda replies that she is taking a sick leave for now. That night Linda wakes up from a loud scream, seeing Zuri crawling out of the sea. You want to kill me, Linda? You murderer! However, it is only a nightmare. The next morning, Bradley prepares to hunt a wild boar, but as he moves silently along the forest he accidentally breaks a twig, scaring the animal away. He looks around and sees something sparkling in the sand. He digs it out and recognizes the ring Zuri has been wearing. Heartbroken, Bradley screams in despair and runs back to the camp to ask Linda if she killed Zuri. Linda tells him that Zuri slipped when Linda was trying to help her get to Bradley. Bradley shouts at Linda, asking why she did not tell him about it earlier, but she replies that he would not have believed her. He tells her that he still does not believe her and Linda vows that it was an accident. Bradley is furious and asks Linda if she killed Zuri in cold blood, but Linda retorts that his wife's death was also an accident. Furious, Linda grabs the knife but Bradley takes it from her hands. She runs away into the forest and he chases her. A fierce fight begins. Bradley manages to pluck a few strands of Linda's hair, but she bites him and tries to hit him with the knife. Finally, Linda manages to hit Bradley with a stone, making him laugh right after. Linda opens her mouth to show him the diamond ring belonging to Zuri, which she swallowed, making Bradley angry. He continues to chase Linda, but she grabs the knife and stabs Bradley. She manages to escape again, running straight to the part of the island she warned Bradley not to enter. There he finds a luxurious mansion and calls for help, but no one responds. Desperate, he opens the door and walks into the house. She looks for a weapon but hears Linda's voice coming from the intercom. This woman calmly informs Bradley that she has already thrown away all the knives, leaving only one. She laughs and asks Bradley how he could ever believe that a knife would be found by the shore, and the other things like fruits and water. Linda reveals that the manor belongs to a billionaire who is a frequent visitor to this part of this island. The first thing she did when she got there was to turn off the security system, which the billionaire never knew about. She says that they could have left much earlier, but she did not have enough courage to abandon the mansion. She explains that she used to sneak in whenever the caretakers were away, having memorized the alarm code. She also tells Bradley that all the food she was giving him was stolen from the mansion. Linda admits to enjoying spending time with him, calling him her new sweetie. But she also tells Bradley that what happened later was not in her plans, implying that maybe fate wanted only them to survive. Linda appears before Bradley, holding a shotgun she found in the mansion. She tells him that things could have been much different between them if he was nice. Bradley admits that he was a horrible person, treating everyone around him poorly, but the island and Linda taught him a lesson. He begs Linda to give him another chance, saying that he loves her and they could stay on the island forever. However, Linda notices that a showpiece is missing its curved horn. Before she can do anything, Bradley attacks her. Linda quickly grabs a golf club from the wall. Bradley manages to get hold of the shotgun, pulling the trigger, but nothing happens because there are no bullets in it. Linda hits Bradley in the head with the golf club, killing him, and then we see Linda, the president of Preston Solutions, participates in a celebrity talk show 1 year after the plane crash. A reporter asks her how she managed to survive the disaster and the following events. Linda replies that the memory of her deceased colleagues is what kept her going. The reporter asks Linda how she feels about her best-selling book, which tells the story of the crash, being made into a movie. Linda expresses pleasure at the fact and says that she is looking forward to writing the next book, this time a self-help book, since she believes that people should understand that no one will help them, so they need to save themselves. Thank you so much for watching. Kindly subscribe to my channel and I appreciate your love and support.